Imagine rolling up to your local trails on a bike that looks straight out of a rally stage. High fender, gold wheels, aggressive stance, and then someone asks you, why spend almost 16 grand on a KTM 890 Adventure R when Aprilia is offering this for just 13.8? That's the controversy stirring in the midweight adventure class right now. The Aprilia Tuareg Rally isn't just a styling package. It's packing the same 659cc parallel twin that delivers 80 horsepower at 9,250 revolutions per minute and 52 pound-feet of torque at 6,500 revolutions per minute. On paper, that means more punch than a Yamaha Ténéré 700, which sits around 72 horsepower, but not quite the brute force of a KTM 890 Adventure R with 105. And yet, the Rally undercuts that KTM by about $2,000 while still offering 240 millimeters of fully adjustable KYB suspension travel, the exact figure KTM owners brag about. And here's another number worth noting. Weight. Aprilia claims the Rally tips the scales at about 439 pounds wet, making it lighter than Suzuki's V-Strom 800DE and Honda's Transalp 750, both creeping closer to 460. That lower mass doesn't just look good on a spec sheet. It shows up when you're muscling the bike through sand or threading rocky single track. Of course, specs aren't the whole story. In the real world, riders in the US value reliability, dealer support, and how a bike feels after a full day in the saddle. That's why the big question is whether this Italian newcomer can really disrupt a segment dominated by Japanese durability and Austrian aggression. By the way, if you enjoy straight-up, no-nonsense takes on motorcycles that could shake up the American market, go ahead and subscribe now, because this is just the beginning of what's coming. Out on the road, the Rally's parallel twin feels alive. That 270-degree crankshaft gives it the same pulse and traction feel riders love in a V-twin, but with the compact packaging of a parallel layout. It may not match the 105 horsepower of the KTM 890 Adventure R, yet the Tuareg Rally's 80 horses come on strong in the mid-range, right where you need grunt to exit a sandy corner or pull up a loose hill. Compared to the Ténéré 772 horsepower, the Aprilia feels noticeably more urgent without being intimidating, but power is only half the equation. Where the Tuareg Rally really makes its case is in the suspension. Aprilia fitted KYB units, front and rear, fully adjustable, with 240 millimeters of travel each. That's not just impressive for the price. It's literally the longest suspension stroke in its class. The Ténéré 700, 210 millimeters up front, 200 in the rear. The Honda Transalp, 200 all around. Even Suzuki's new V-Strom 800DE caps at 220. Only the KTM 890 Adventure R matches the Aprilia's numbers. But again, you're paying nearly 2 grand more for the Austrian badge. Handling feels light and neutral, thanks to the 439-pound weight. And that's a figure you'll notice the first time you have to pick the bike up after a stall on a rocky incline. It's less top-heavy than the V-Strom and feels narrower between the legs than the Transalp, giving more confidence to stand on the pegs and let the bike dance under you. Then there's the electronics package, which is a real surprise at this price. 4 riding modes, urban, explore, off-road, and individual, allow you to dial in the character of the bike. The traction control has 4 levels, the engine braking is adjustable, and the ABS can be switched off at the rear wheel or completely disabled. And yes, the Rally comes with cruise control, a feature absent on the Ténéré and even some pricier rivals. On a long highway stretch between dirt sections, that's not just a luxury. It's a relief for your right wrist dot. So when you add up the numbers, suspension travel, weight, power delivery, and a smart electronic suite, it's hard not to ask yourself, are we looking at the sweet spot between Japanese reliability and European excitement? When you first see the Tuareg Rally in person, you realize Aprilia didn't just copy-paste an adventure bike and slap on new graphics. The styling cues come straight from the rally stages. High fender, tall skid plate, SC Project exhaust, and a slimmer, taller seat at 913 millimeters that makes it feel ready for Dakar rather than Main Street. In the US market, where most riders lean toward Yamaha or KTM, this bike instantly stands out at gas stops or trailheads. It's not just another ADV, it looks like a factory rally replica that just happens to have a license plate. But what about living with it? Aprilia isn't as widespread in the States as Honda, Yamaha, or Suzuki. That means fewer dealers, fewer parts on the shelf, and a smaller support network. For riders who log thousands of miles across states, that's something to weigh carefully. On the flip side, Aprilia offers a 3-year warranty, and owners consistently point out that the 660 platform has been reliable since its launch. In day-to-day use, the Rally's 18-liter tank, just under 4.8 gallons, puts range on par with most midweight rivals, giving you roughly 200 miles between fill-ups if you ride with some restraint. So here's the question we started with. Is the Aprilia Tuareg Rally a KTM killer? The truth is, it depends on what you value. If you crave sheer horsepower and want the biggest dealer footprint for off-road parts and support, the KTM 890 Adventure R still holds the crown. But if you're after a lighter bike with suspension just as capable, an electronic suite that feels more premium than its $13,799 price tag suggests, and you don't mind stepping outside the mainstream, the Rally makes a powerful argument against the Yamaha Ténéré 700. It offers more power, more suspension travel, and more tech at a higher price but still within reach. Against the Honda Transalp, it feels leaner and more dirt-ready. And against the KTM, it's the underdog that punches surprisingly close, forcing you to ask whether the orange paint really justifies the extra money. At the end of the day, the Tuareg Rally is not for everyone. It's for the rider who looks at a desert route or ABDR map and thinks, yeah, I want something different. It's for the rider who values exclusivity, who doesn't want to see the same bike parked at every trailhead. And for those people, the Rally is more than just a motorcycle. It's a statement. So now the question flips back to you. Would you roll the dice on an Italian Rally-inspired twin with 80 horsepower, 52 pound-feet, 240 millimeters of suspension travel, and cruise control, or stick with the tried-and-true Japanese and Austrian options? Drop your thoughts below. And let's see if America is ready to give Aprilia a real shot in the dirt. And if you want more honest breakdowns of bikes that could change the US market, make sure you're subscribed. Because this year is just getting started, and the next review might ruffle even more feathers.